The first card that I pulled tonight, and I'll show you the 3 cards at the end of the reading just so that you can see them. The first card that I pulled tonight is the 10 of Swords. And this card is about finally being able to peel back some of the layers of yourself to get to the true essence of who you are and what makes you feel inspired and what makes you tick, right? So this is the first card that we're pulling this evening. We're going to do 3 cards. Typically, the swords in the tarot has to do with the element of air, and it also has to do with the intellect and the mind. So when we see swords in the tarot, one might think that you're tapping into some insight or inner wisdom that you maybe has always been there for you, but you just never were able to tap into it before. Or it could be that you're not tapping into your intellect, that you are at this time almost wasting the mind or allowing the mind to kind of sit in waste where you're over analyzing things and you're overthinking things. But what I'm feeling specifically about this card through the intuition of it is that there was something that you tried to do once before and it didn't work. And then for some reason you were feeling that you should try this one more time. Okay, it could be that it was a work situation. It could even be a love interest or somebody that you're in a relationship with and you tried it once before and it did not work for you. And either you were stubborn or you felt, it may not necessarily be that you're stubborn, but sometimes being stubborn is being persistent, okay? I mean, most people will say stubborn is probably the word that I am, but I like to think I'm persistent. So for me, if it was a relationship that didn't work out, the stubborn part of me would be like, well, I have to see it through. I have to see where this goes. Or the persistent part of me would be like, well, the universe ultimately knows if we're supposed to be together. So if I try it one more time and it's not meant to be, the universe will take care of it or kind of remove this person from my path, right? So this card makes me feel similar to the energy of that. This card makes me feel that you are being persistent about something or being stubborn about something. You tried something once and it didn't work for you, but now either through your passion or through your persistence or through your intellect, maybe your mind is telling you something different, like, I know that this is the person for me or this is the job for me, and even though it didn't work out once, I know that this is going to work out for me. And I could really relate to this card in the way of my business. I had a really strong business sense when I opened up my first store in Mount Sinai, and the store was just really not doing well. It wasn't doing well for so long. And I'm not trying to tell you like to have pity on me or cry the blues to you. I'm just sharing how I could really relate to this card. Many people would say, well, if you're not making the rent and you're taking from your home, it's time to close the store. But I just had this gut inside of me that I knew there was something bigger than just having an address and sitting behind a counter. I just knew it in my heart. And I did whatever I had to do to stay in business, to keep it afloat. And look at where it is today. It's like such a huge community. People all get to know each other. People even here on the live feed get to know one another, recognize their Instagram names in the store, say hello to each other, know each other's birthdays, know each other's zodiac signs. It was never really about sitting behind a counter and selling products. I knew in my heart it was something bigger. So some might say I'm stubborn. I like to say I'm persistent. So this makes me feel like it was something that you tried, that you knew it wasn't going to work, or it didn't work, and now you're saying, but I have to try it one more time. And like I'm saying, I could really relate to that. So it's either through your passion or through your creativity. But the great thing is it's the number 10. And the number 10 in the tarot means that we are nearing the end of a cycle. So if you feel that you've been in your head for too long, or you've been unsure of your decision for too long, I'd like to say that the great thing is you are reaching the breaking point or the end point where you're going to start to see some relief in that, and things are going to start to turn in your favor. And ultimately, you won't feel so defeated anymore. If you've been feeling defeated for many months, know that that energy is clearing out, and you can start focusing now on saving your energy for this next phase, because you're going to need it to be nurturing what it is, whatever endeavor it is that you knew in your heart it needed one more look at, right? We call that like, we call that a second look or a look back, okay? So the second card that we pulled is the Five of Swords. So this is kind of, it's kind of like a slip up. So the good thing is about the tarot, like you can use the tarot as a tool or a guideline as to what is going on, and you can use it to work towards something, or you can use it to work away from something. Sometimes we get to see things with the tarot and we don't like it, so we make the necessary changes to shift our energy into a different direction. And the reason why I'm defending the card before I even read it is because it's kind of like a two-faced card, meaning that I just gave you the go-ahead to try something for the second time and telling you that it's the end of the cycle, and then the Five of Swords popped up. So the Five of Swords is a really shitty card, I'm not gonna lie. This card is about manipulation, it's about feeling defeated, it's about, there's no way to sugarcoat this card. People turning their back on you, maybe people haven't been as supportive of you as you needed them to be. Maybe people weren't checking in on you when you needed to be checked in on. And also, it's about picking up your own pieces and showing up for yourself, because you don't always have everybody else to rely on. Now, the number 5 in the tarot can often be a very chaotic number. It means that things are kind of out of alignment. And again, it's the swords, so once again, it means that it has something to do with the intellect, something to do with the mind, something to do with, like it could have to do with overthinking things again. So it's letting me know that while you're starting to feel relief in one aspect of your life, you're still faced with some challenges currently in another aspect of your life. So I would almost imagine that these are two different situations, that maybe the first situation could be work, and you were starting to see some relief with work, and now a relationship is going to be difficult, or vice versa. Maybe you're starting to see some relief in the relationship, but there's some difficulties at work, or maybe some difficulties with your finances. So, but the good thing is you can use the tarot cards as a tool to work towards something or to work away from something. So if you see something coming up in your mirror, you think to yourself, okay, this is what Janet spoke about, and using this card as a guideline now to stay on track and not think about allowing myself to feel so defeated. Like when I'm saying myself, I'm speaking about you guys, right? So you're saying to yourself, like, I'm not going to allow myself to feel defeated at this time, because, you know, Jenna said that this is going to come up for me in the tarot, that I'm starting to feel relief in one aspect of my life, and that cycle is ending. But then to just be cautious about this other angle or this other thing that's going on, right? Because most of us truly have we never really know what someone's going through. You can look at somebody and never really know what they're going through. Many of us have a lot of things going on. It might just be on a different size of the spectrum, or a different side of the spectrum, right? Some of us are going through it in the thick of it, and some of us are just kind of going through it, having the highs and lows of life and meandering through life, right? But the fact of the matter is, the level of defeat that you might have felt probably was a little bit stronger than what you were really letting up for it to be. And like I said, the good news is it's the number 10, which means it's cycling out. It came in, it probably rocked your world, and now it's cycling out. But sometimes when our attention is directed onto a different matter, we realize how important that original matter was, because now we're no longer looking at the other picture. So if one thing is cycling out, now the second situation is going to look more pronounced, and you're going to be affected by it almost just as strong as the first issue, because that first issue was keeping your mind off of this issue. But now that this issue is clearing out, this is right in front of your face, and it's telling you it needs attention. So yes, you're cycling out of something that you're going through, but now you need to focus and pay attention to this other chaos that's going on in your life. But I assure you that harping on it and overthinking it is not going to help you. You need to stay in the space of surrendering. And I assure you that the universe always has a bigger picture for us. And you know that saying that they taught us when we were like little kids, when one door closes, another door opens. That is so true in every aspect of everybody's life. Even when we don't realize that something bad becomes something good. And also, something good can become something bad. Let's not forget that. So this just means that there was some deep issues as far as feeling betrayed. There was some betrayal, there was some dishonesty, and you were deeply affected by it. And now, because one situation is working its way out, your attention is completely focused on this other situation. So let's see what card 3 has to say, since now we know that there's definitely something brewing, right? Okay, well, it's definitely about a partnership because it's number 2. So number 2 means partnership, and the card is the 2 of Pentacles. The 2 of Pentacles is usually about work or finances. Intuitively, what I'm feeling is that maybe for a little too long now, you've been giving more than what somebody's been given to you. And while it can be really exciting to help other people on their journey, especially if you know there's somebody less fortunate than you, maybe financially you're helping somebody with their bills, maybe you're giving somebody room and board, or you're picking up the weight more than somebody that you're living with, you're paying the bills more than the other person. We can give people a pass in life here and there, but to become used or abused or undermined, right? That's just taking it too far. So now we will start to feel depleted as we're moving into the energy of the 2 of Pentacles, because this person may not be good with finances. So chances are that you're pulling more of your weight than they are of theirs. And now, because that card is the 3rd card, it gives a better picture as to what card 1 and card 2 are, because each card supports the next card. So card 2 was the 2 of Pentacles. Card 3 was the 2 of Pentacles. Card 2 was the 5 of Swords. So 2 is supporting the fact that the chaos is that somebody's not pulling their weight. Maybe they're not pulling their weight in the relationship. They're not pulling their weight in the office. Maybe you're doing their work and you've been doing it too long and you're exhausted and you're depleted and you're not just going to do it anymore. The number 2 also in the Way of Tarot, like I said before, is partnership. Partnership could be you in a love romance, right? Because you think of 2 people like a husband and wife, or a husband and a husband, a wife and a wife, right? So it's a partnership. It can also be 2 people owning a business. It can even be a business where there are 5 partners. It just lets me know as a reader that that means there's a partnership going on, okay? But that right now there's a little bit of an imbalance in this partnership. And here we see the image of this almost joker or apprentice kind of juggling the finances, trying to transform the space that they're in, but having very little to do that with. Trying to make $1 out of 50 cents, right? That's also one of those old sayings they taught us when we were little. There is some energy around it of being inexperienced with the dealings of this matter and how to deal with it. I say, you can think to yourself, if there's someone that you need to confront in your life with an important issue or an important matter, you can think about it, how you're going to say it, how you're going to communicate it, what words you're going to use, how to articulate your words, how to get your point across clear, how to have, how to foster good communication. And you can think it through in all of those aspects before you approach this person. How am I going to say it to this person? How am I going to tell this person, that they're not handling this situation very well, the relationship, the finances, whatever it might be. And you could think about it and think about it until the energy has passed, and now you feel like too much time has passed, and now maybe it's too late to confront this person. So I would like to say this. Yes, it's always good to write it down, think it through before you say somebody. I'm a big fan of writing a letter, especially if somebody has hurt your feelings. I'm a big fan of writing a letter because you could reread it before you give it to them, and they can reread it. Because texting is difficult, and sometimes communication is difficult, because sometimes what we're thinking in our mind is not actually coming out of our mouth the appropriate way. We think that they understand the 10,000 things that was attached to the one sentence, right? So the letter is always a great way of communicating with somebody. I'm thinking also in regards to this card, once you're able to communicate with this person, whether it's writing it down or thinking it through, don't wait too long. Say it sooner rather than later, because if you wait too long, it is going to lose its energy and almost like the importance of it behind it, like what's backing it up. The other thing about that is you may forget exactly how you're feeling in the moment. And if you carry that or those words that you wanted to say to somebody else, to the original person, and then you have dealings with somebody else, you may accidentally project what you're feeling with the first person on the second person, because the first person you never had the communication with. So you take the anger with you from person A accidentally, inadvertently to person B. And that actually just happened to me this week. I didn't wait to tell the person how I felt. I told the person how I felt immediately. I was just talking about this to Juan today. I knocked on the door and I was like, and this is how I'm feeling. Because if you wait too long, then the next person is almost caught in the crossfire, because they're like, okay, I don't know what just set her off, but they're not knowing that maybe you're aggravated from the day before. So it's important that you address the issue immediately. Take a minute to think about it. Take a minute to jot it down. That's fine. But don't wait days. Don't let it fester. Don't wait weeks and months. It just becomes too late. Okay? So let's look at the cards that we pulled this evening. The first card is the 10 of Swords in reverse. The second card is the 5 of Swords forward facing. And the third card is the 2 of Pentacles forward facing. So you see how it looks like he's trying to get his footing? Like he can't really get his foot on the ground, so he's not really grounded, or she's not really grounded when it comes to finances. So each card supported one another. So it really does seem like there's two issues at hand. So the 10 in the tarot is ending a cycle, getting ready to finish it. The 5 in the tarot is chaos, disruption, delusion. The 2 in the tarot is a great number. It's like if you ever come to me for a reading, which Paul, I know you were saying something before about the reading and I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing. I got a little distracted. So I'm going to go back to Paul's message in a moment. If you ever get a chance to get a reading with me, I usually go over, FYI, I don't just sign on for reading. And I am sure other people feel the same way. Aww, Paul, you're the best. Friggin' love you. You're going to be stuck with me for an hour. I can't even believe it. Paul won his chance to get a reading. So I'm back in the reading game. I've been out of it for 2.5 years as like a professional reader. I've been doing it obviously on the Instagram every night. I didn't raise my price. It's the same price, $120. I just am only going to read 3 people a month. So we're doing a lottery where you contact me on Instagram with your name and phone number. I then forward the information to Leah, who is my employee at the Bayshore store. And then once a week, she picks a name out of however she's doing this lottery. I haven't been to Bayshore yet to see it. I'll be in Bayshore on Friday from 11 to 7. But Paul was the first person who got his name picked, so he won his chance to get stuck with me for an hour. Poor kid. So yeah, each card is supporting the next card. And the 2, as I was saying in a reading, I'll usually describe what's going on, but the 2 is a partnership. So looking at these this number 2 that's supporting the 5 and the 10. Also, if you pay attention to this, this is crazy because I always think that the universe has a crazier scheme of things going on, right? So 2 times 5 is 10, right? So we pulled the 10, and then we got the 5, and then we got the 2. And the 2 means partnership, but it also can be 2 things. And I said before we even pulled card number 3, you have one issue that you're dealing with, and then you have a second issue that you're dealing with. And when the first issue moves out, the second issue will be the new issue at hand. So then we pull the 2, which is like letting us know that there's 2 major situations going on in your life right now. And the moment that you start to release or relinquish control over the first situation, the second situation will become more pronounced, and you'll be able to focus on it, and you'll be more level-headed and clear-headed. So for those of you that are new to our feed, I have a YouTube channel under my personal name, which is Jenna, J-E-N-A, Turner, T-U-R-N-E-R, and you can find us on YouTube. I upload the videos the next day after we record them from the night before. So I'm just going to say goodbye to my YouTube community. Thank you for joining me this evening. And for those of you on YouTube, you can catch me on Instagram at Breathe Inspiring Gifts.